Good morning, students. Today we will go over everything you need to know to play Jax in Season 13. We will cover all possible runes, when to take them, and many different build options, giving you the tools to adapt to any game state and carry your team. First, let's go over Jax's identity as a champion. Jax is a bruiser-style champion who can really be very diverse with his builds and playstyles. You can play him as a split pusher and duel almost anyone late game, or you can build him tankier and peel for your carries. Jax is a great champion to pick up as he isn't necessarily the most complex champion mechanics-wise but instead requires matchup knowledge. Knowing where to be and what to do at the right time as Jax is the key to utilizing him to his fullest potential. Now that we know his role in the game, let's go over his abilities. Starting with his passive, Relentless Assault, his consecutive basic attacks continuously increase his attack speed, stacking up to 8 times. His Q, Leap Strike, makes him leap toward a unit. If they are an enemy, he strikes them with his weapon. This is what gives him his outplay and insane mobility. His W, Empower, charges his weapon with energy, causing his next attack to deal additional damage. This is an ability with a very low cooldown late game and puts out a ton of DPS. His E, Counter Strike, allows him to dodge all incoming attacks for a short duration and then quickly counterattack, stunning all surrounding enemies. Using this at the right time in a fight is essential. It can be the difference between winning or losing an entire team fight. His R, Grandmaster at Arms, allows every third consecutive attack to deal additional magic damage. Additionally, Jax can activate this ability to deal damage around himself and strengthen his resolve, increasing his armor and magic resist for a short duration. The timing of this ability is crucial to surviving fights. You will usually start E, then take Q at level 2, and W at level 3. You will be maxing W first, then E, then Q, taking points in your ultimate whenever you can. There are only a couple of combos that you need to know on Jax. The rest of the time, just use your abilities as needed. The first is to use your E, and right as it is about to stun, Q onto the enemy. This only works when you are stronger than your opponent but has little counterplay other than using flash. The next is your bread and butter trading combo post level 6. Auto the minions twice and then Q onto your opponent, followed by an auto attack into W. This leaves your E up to disengage or continue the trade and potentially all in. Next, we will cover runes. Runes are relatively simple on Jax. You will always be taking lethal tempo. The attack speed in extended fights is absolutely perfect for Jax. Triumph is our preferred rune in the top row. You can take Presence of Mind, but Triumph makes surviving dives and team fights significantly easier, which are two of Jax's strong suits. Legend Tenacity is what you will take into 90% of your games, as there is so much CC in the game. You can take Legend Alacrity if they have a team with little to no CC. Next is Coup de Grace or Last Stand. We prefer Last Stand as you will usually be in the middle of fights taking damage, but both are good, so take whatever you want. For secondary runes, we recommend Cosmic Insight and Biscuit Delivery. This gives you cooldown reduction on your summoners and extra sustain for both HP and mana in lane. You can take Free Boots instead of Cosmic if you want. Saving 300 gold can feel very nice. You can go Resolve and take Second Wind and either Unflinching or Overgrowth if you are into heavy poke and feel like you need it. For summoner spells, always take Flash and Ignite by default. You can take TP into tougher matchups and Ghost into high mobility matchups. Now on to builds. You are looking to start either Doran's Blade into melee matchups or Doran's Shield into ranged matchups. For your mythic, you are always going to go Divine Sunderer. It is by far the best mythic on Jax right now. You will then go either Plated Steelcaps if you need more armor, or Mercury's Treads if you need more magic resist or if they have lots of CC. Blade of the Ruined King is almost always your best second item, and you will go for it in most games. You can build it before Divine Sunderer if you need it for your lane opponent stacks a lot of health. If they have no HP stackers on their team, you can skip Blade of the Ruined King, but it's still a good item, so if you like it, you can still build it. After these items, it is entirely situational. Spear of Shojin, Death's Dance, Frozen Heart, and Zanya's are all good choices. You can build them in whatever order you need. Shojin should be your go-to if you don't need any other specific items. Here is a list of most of the viable options on Jax right now. Now we will go over his laning phase. Jax's laning phase is pretty easy, as he wins many matchups. The most consistent option is to farm until you have at least enough for a Sheen and look to crash a big wave with a slow push and then recall. Once you have a Sheen, you can start trading more and looking for all-ins. Try to keep the wave on your side of the lane, as it keeps you safer from ganks and makes all-ins much easier. You can cheese melee opponents at level 1 by starting E and walking through their way to auto them. As soon as the minions begin to attack you, use your E, and you will win against most melee champions. As the mid-game comes around, try and maintain pressure in the top lane and rotate to close fights. Starting at the third Drake in the game, you will want to be there to help your team secure the objective. The late game is where Jax completely takes over games. You should be looking to split push when you can and helping in team fights when it is unsafe. Now you may be wondering when you can and cannot split push. We will explain everything you need to know to make that decision. When split pushing, you are leaving your team in a 4v5, so your team needs to be aware of what you are doing. The idea of split pushing is to attract attention to you, so the opponents send 1 to 2 or more champions to deal with you, which leaves your team free to take objectives with the overpower they have. The other case is that the enemy leaves you unnoticed and tries to take down your team, which means your team needs to be aware of the risk and back off before it's too late. When this happens, you push the lane you are splitting as hard as possible, as you can get takedown towers surprisingly fast. When split pushing, vision is a crucial thing. Try to have vision around the area you are pushing to know when to back off if the opponents try to gank you from the fog of war. Also, keep an eye on the minimap to see how many of your opponents are visible and where they are. Think of who you can solo kill and can't, who you can possibly 1v2 etc. If you have teleport while split pushing, you can also consider teleporting into team fights. If your team can hold on to the fight while your TP is channeling, you can win the team fight with the element of surprise if the opponents first think it will be a 5v4 fight for them. Before you teleport, consider which option gives your team the most advantage. If the fight is already lost, push as much as you can and back. Remember to keep vision on objectives like Baron Nashor and Dragon depending on the lane you are pushing, since if the opponents kill your team, they are likely to do one of these objectives if possible. Now you have all the information you need to carry on Jax. If you found this helpful, make sure to check out our complete fundamentals guide in our bio and follow LOL University for more.